Hey everybody, I'm Father Scott Vanderveer, and today we're taking a full circle look at what our parish has learned by taking principles from the book Rebuild. And today I'm going to talk about how a parish can be as healthy a family system as possible. Have you ever gone to a church? Maybe you've visited family and gone to a Christmas celebration or an Easter celebration at a parish. And at that celebration, at the end, the priest gets up at the end of the Mass and says, I want to thank everybody who was involved in this. I want to thank the liturgy committee for their tireless work. I want to thank our music director and all the members of the choir who worked so hard to pull this off. I want to thank our lectors. I want to thank those who served as Eucharistic ministers. I want to thank everyone who made this celebration so great. Let's all give them a round of applause. If you think about what that feels like, you probably are feeling some version of, when is this over? Or maybe you even thought, wait a minute, isn't that everybody's job? Are we thanking the music director for taking the position and doing the job? It's interesting that when we think of that kind of thanking, it really is thanking all of the insiders. It's kind of self-congratulatory. It's not focused on thanking people for being a part of this, thanking people for coming and making this place so filled with faith and life. We're thanking all of the people who are stakeholders in this. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying here. Thanks is a wonderful thing. Gratitude is really important. And anybody who is contributing to the health of an organization ought to be thanked. But public congratulations feels a little bit much. And if you can think about it for going to a neighbor's church, if you go to somebody's celebration at the Presbyterian church or the Methodist church, you're not going to feel moved by how much the hospitality committee did to put out those cookies on plates. You're probably going to say, oh, it's nice that the church does that. But for the church to congratulate a few people in front of everybody and ask for you to applaud them, when you are probably, if you're visiting family, not going to be going to that event. If you drive to Syracuse or to Philadelphia or you fly to California and the last 5 minutes of the service are all thanking everybody who lives there for all they did for you to go there, you're probably not going to feel engaged. Self-congratulation is something that the rebuilt method discourages in parishes, because self-congratulation ignores the main reason that we're there, to serve God and to draw more and more people in to want to serve God as well, to make disciples. So before you feel sour about this concept that maybe we should thank members of our community and our stakeholders a little bit less, let me say it this way instead. The reason we're doing this is for God and for making disciples. And so we don't need to thank parents for loving their children, and we don't need to thank disciples publicly for serving God. That is, after all, what we are here to do. So if you go to a parish that is focused on making disciples, you won't hear a lot of congratulations to the music director and the choir for coming. You'll instead hear people say, we're so grateful that you chose to spend Christmas with us instead of not coming. Maybe not all those exact words, but you get my point. We're so glad that you're practicing your faith. We're so glad that you made the decision to come today. We hope that you thought it was the right decision. The choir and the hospitality ministers and everyone from the newest member of this church to the person who did the most humble volunteering to the person who organized everything. All of us together say thank you for coming. We did this for you. We did this so that you would come and join us in being a disciple and serving God. It's a very different focus. It's a very different way to look at the idea of thanking. If you think about this, we're trying to move everybody from being non-practicing to practicing. But then once they're practicing, we want them to not just come and attend Mass, or in the old language, to hear the priest say Mass. We're not looking for that. We're not looking for people to come and then bring everything with them, car keys, wallet, purse, bulletin, up to communion so that they can go right out the side door and not be there to hear any announcements about what's going on in the parish. We don't want that. That's just a very early starting point. We want people to move from non-practicing to practicing, and then to move from practicing to being involved, and then move from being involved to making church service and service to the community an important part of their life. It's how a parish helps everybody get what they need, the same way a teacher in a classroom helps the students get whatever they need, tailored to their particular situation. So that's how a teacher helps a student with a reading difficulty move from A to B or B to C, while helping a gifted student in the same class move from N to O. How can we get people to move from B to C while others are moving from X to Y? That is the goal. It's a big goal. It's a lofty goal. But that's why here at St. Mary's, we've wanted to articulate our mission in such a way that making disciples is what we do. We put God first, we make disciples, and we love others through service. That's what we're trying to do. So when you come to St. Mary's, you're going to hear people thanking you for being present, for moving from A to B or from X to Y. We're thanking you for being there. We're thanking you for being involved. We're thanking you from going from non-practicing to practicing, or from practicing to involvement, or from involvement to commitment and discipleship. We're thanking you for keeping on that journey. The reason why we can never stay where we are in our faith journey, the reason we can never keep our commitment level, whatever it's been, is the same reason why any pond of water in nature must have a source and an outlet. We must have, for a body of water to stay healthy and not get stagnant, it needs to have inflow and it needs to have outflow. If all you have is water trickling in and collecting and never flowing out, it's soon going to become a dead lake. It won't have the life that it needs. If it has outflow and no inflow, you'll soon have a dried up riverbed. We need to have inflow and outflow so that nothing becomes stagnant, and so there's not a drying up of the life force. Some parishes have outflow. They do a lot of funerals, and they don't have inflow, no baptisms. Some other churches have lots of people coming in, but they don't give them enough to dig into. There's not enough meat for them to stay. And so they leave after a while feeling maybe hungry or not fully fed. Our goal is to become the kind of parish where everyone who's an outsider finds it comforting and welcoming to arrive. And then once you've arrived, you feel like you've got ants in your pants. You feel like, I've got to get moving. there's more I want to do. So that's when our job switches from allowing people to see that there's no way to stay spiritually healthy and not serve in some way. There's no way that we can stay spiritually engaged unless there's outflow. We can't just have inflow. Imagine a church where people come and all they do is receive, receive, receive. Here's a devotional book. Here's a chance for you to buy your Christmas cards here. Get trinkets. Here's a chance for you to win a prize. Here's a chance for you to experience a trip with your friends. If it's all receiving and no giving, then the person will become spiritually stagnant. And of course, if it's all giving and no receiving, how can anyone survive with no nutrition? So the goal is for us to recognize that spiritual health requires service. And that's when our parish needs to find ways to make it easier to say yes to service than to pass it by. That's one of the reasons why we don't say to you, come fix up the school. Come help us renovate our beautiful 92-year-old school building. We don't say that. We say, come for 2 hours on Saturday morning and join us in a school spruce up. Help us get the windows polished. Help us get all the Scotch tape from last year off of the lockers. Help us make the spaces clean and fresh. We don't say, come help us renovate something, because a lot of people don't know how to renovate things. But everybody knows how to spend 2 hours rolling up their sleeves and making a space more beautiful. This rebuilt book has given our parish so much to think about, and we are so grateful that you are willing to join us in that journey by watching these videos, reading those brochures that we've created, considering how St. Mary's can be as healthy and happy and holy as possible. And we do it by putting God first, by making disciples, by loving others. If we put things in their proper order, serve God first, love other people, our neighbor as ourself, and make disciples, how can we go wrong? After all, what else is there to live for than for the most important things that make life sensible and beautiful, no matter what season we're in? May God bless you all.